Week 11 is here, and I got a batch of winning picks for you. Let's get right into it. Buccaneers taking on the Bills. Bills favored by 5.5, and I know what you're asking. Can we trust this Bills team to come through after last week's game in which they looked absolutely inept against Miami? Did anyone see that coming? I sure didn't. I do trust the Bills in this spot because I think this team runs hot and cold and kind of has the tendency to play up and down to their competition. I think against the Dolphins, they probably ran in there thinking this is going to be a cakewalk and kind of tried to sleepwalk their way through it and got themselves into a bad spot they couldn't quite overcome. However, in this game, I think they're fully locked in. I think that was the perfect wake-up call at the perfect time in the season where you can kind of get bored and be sleepy walking your way through. I think they had a wake-up call that, hey guys, if we don't show up every week, this season can end pretty horrifically. I think against the Buccaneers, a team that they will obviously have respect for and they have to take seriously, I think they show up locked in and deliver a good performance. Give me the Bills minus 5.5. Packers taking on the Giants. Packers favored by 7.5 in a game where I'm not quite sure what I'm going to get. Now, Brian Daboll was relieved of head coaching duties. Is this team going to rally around the interim head coach, or are they going to completely fall apart, give up, and throw the towel in? Not quite sure. Teams have a habit of doing both. Sometimes the team will come out and play really well after a big time change. Just look at the Jets last week, who managed to get a win after trading 2 of their star defensive players. This Giants team, though, I think is a little bit different. Not really sure if they're going to show up and do all those things. I think they're ready to just pack it in and move on to the next stop. But this Packers team, though, is really hit or miss. And I know they're supposed to be good, and I don't quite see it, though. I think Jordan Love is kind of one of those quarterbacks who it's in there, but he doesn't seem to bring it out all the time. And he has really bad body language. Like, he looks like he's disinterested at all times. I'm going to go with the Giants in this game to keep this game closer than 7.5. I'll take the Packers to win, but give me the Giants plus 7.5. Seahawks taking on the Rams, a battle to see who is the #1 team in the NFL. If you're asking me, I think these two teams have shown themselves to kind of separate a little bit and be the two most, if nothing else, exciting and interesting teams in the NFL. You got the Rams favored by 3.5, and honestly, I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I think because you're division rivals, I think this is personal. I think the Seahawks are going to come out in this game and try to prove a point, and I think that offense is absolutely humming, and I think that defense is perfectly complementing them. And even though Matthew Stafford is putting up MVP type numbers and having a really good season, I think he's going to run into a little bit of trouble this week. Give me the Seahawks. Chiefs taking on the Broncos. The Broncos somehow are having a great season, even though every time you watch them, they seem like they're no good. Every time I tune in, I feel like I look at Bo Nix and say, Bo Nix is kind of bad. But they end up getting a win. They end up pulling these things out. They end up continuing on. And then you have the Chiefs with the creme de la creme, the top of the league, the darling, the guys who have been on a monstrous dominant run, getting the Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. They're favored by 3.5 in this game, and I got news for you. I'm going with the upside. I'm taking the Broncos to come out there and win. This is an official changing of the guard. This is the moment where we say it is no longer the Chiefs' league. They are no longer the big dog at the kennel. They are going to get put into their place, and the Broncos are going to take them out and end the suffering of all fans across the world. Chiefs are no longer it, and we're moving into a new era. Give me the Broncos. Lions taking on the Eagles. Eagles favored by 2.5, and I know the Eagles are a good, solid team, and they show up and they're consistent in terms of they keep racking up these wins. But this Lions team, they got a little edge to them, a little attitude behind head coach Dan Campbell, and with him now taking over offensive play calling duties, I think you saw last week what we're about to get going forward. An explosive offense who is going to go after the throats of any opponent that lines up against them. And I think this is a perfect matchup for them to come out and have that extra energy, that extra juice, and the extra motivation to put a whooping on somebody. And I think the Eagles are the recipient this week. Give me the Lions plus 2.5. Cowboys taking on the Raiders. Cowboys favored by 3.5, and probably the only team in the league that you would absolutely feel comfortable favoring them over is the Raiders. Geno Smith looks like absolute garbage, and if you can't put up a solid defensive performance against him and this offense, just pack it in, cancel the rest of the season. We don't need to see anymore. I think with the addition of Quinnen Williams, I think this team is coming in off of the bye week with a little extra energy, a little extra juice, a little excitement. I think they had some time to go back, regroup, come up with a new plan of how we want to attack things. I expect this offense to come out humming, and I expect this defense to come out with nothing else, a little more excitement, a little more energy, and a little more effort. And I think that's all it's going to take to get them over the hump and get them to look like a real competent defense. Maybe a top 25 defense is realistic. I like the Cowboys to win this game. Give me the Cowboys -3.5. Those are my picks for the week. As always, remember, gamble responsibly. Only bet what you can comfortably afford to lose. Let me know what you think of my picks in the comments down below, and let me know your picks for the week. Enjoy the week's games, and I'll catch you guys next time.